Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Nate and Josh coming to you guys on a Thursday, a small slate for nowadays. We used to have 4-game slates every now and then. Feels like it's been forever. But we got 4 games on a Thursday here. A couple teams on a back-to-back, so definitely want to be aware of that. We are going to be going through best bets. We've also got player props in this episode, and we're bringing them both to you in one episode moving forward, even each and every weekday. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow along with us. Let's get into a game here with the Grizz and the Kings. Nate, you're looking at the Grizz to be able to cover 2.5 at home here.
Yeah, I feel like we got away with one 2 nights ago in terms of the Grizz not covering. Had the Spurs there -6.5, and it was really a 1-point game down to the stretch where the Grizz just kind of fumbled it away. But I mean, clutch player of the year, De'Aaron Fox, right? On the Spurs now, no longer on the Kings. The Kings, who the vibes just are not good as far as if this game does go down to the clutch. I mean, Sac has been -45 net on the road. Memphis has also been that bad on the road in the clutch, but +33 at home. This is a spot to come back and back the Grizzlies, as we always know, at home, no matter who's playing. Now, I mean, we are down probably 4 of their most vital players at this point, with Jaren Jackson also not going to play. Although I don't know if Ja being out is a negative. They actually got up by 11 points after he got injured in Cleveland, just because you have 5 guys giving full effort on both sides of the ball. We have both gushed over Vince Williams. He was fantastic in that Spurs game. And Edey and Coward both kind of, working their way back into full form. I mean, Coward was fantastic as well. And they'll probably be able to cobble together some offense here to beat a Kings team that is just bad. I mean, it's just lost 7 straight, worst field goal percentage, worst at the rim. Sabonis might play here, but he, as you pointed out, is totally disinterested. They are 6-19 ATS on a rest disadvantage since the start of last year. They've lost both their back-to-backs by double digits so far this year. And yeah, so I mean, we're looking at Memphis at home again. Their losses are against basically the best teams in the league. And when they have gotten a bad team, Dallas and Indy at home, boom, double-digit win. 3-1 ATS as a home favorite, even in the year from hell for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, another year from hell for sure. The only reason I stayed away from this one is just like, I don't know, is there going to be like a random DeMar game? This just feels weird when I see like there's at least 2 players that like individually are better than everybody that's going to be out there for the Grizzlies, but there's still going to be enough guys on the Grizzlies to be able to cover. So I definitely leaned hard this way because I'm just always down to fade the Kings. This is just a gut weird thing of like, is this going to be that random one for me? That's it. And it's a back-to-back, and it could not be less expected from this team. But if Sabonis plays too, that would be a big gut blow, because I think if he doesn't play, even in 25 minutes, Zach Edey's getting 10 rebounds. But with Domas out there, I don't know if I can go that route. So looking at this game, this is a fun game, man. It should be anyway. And we got the Kings. We've got the Spurs and the Hawks. Thank God we don't have the Kings in this one. And I don't know, the Hawks, I'm not ready to say like they're turning into a pumpkin by any means, but I didn't think it was a great loss to the slightly underhanded Detroit. I guess Cade and Durant ended up playing, so it was still pretty much full strength, but there's just been a little bit of a downtick in the big excitement that started for Atlanta, and they're still really, really good. I know how good they've been since Trey went down. The worst look for Trey, by the way, is that they are number 1 in assist percentage since he went down. That's the worst look, because he's the alleged leader in assists, and stat wise that would be the case. But anyway, looking at this Spurs team, still, like, we saw what they did in their last game out. They did need to sort of make things happen at the end there versus Memphis, but like you kind of pointed out, like, with Memphis having just a whole bunch of guys and Jaren Jackson with the green light, like they're not too bad, man, especially with Edey back. Like, let's not discount how important that's been. So I'm not basing this on like Luke Cornett's ability to come in and replicate anything that Wembanyama does. There's no one in the history of the world that's ever walked the earth, I would imagine, that can do that. So you can't really take his loss and go, here's how we quantify this. It's unquantifiable probably. But what I know is who's still out there. And I love the fact that we've got KJ, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan coming off the bench, both able to eat up the roughly 24 rebounds left behind by Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. And this Hawks team is not good at rebounding. It doesn't matter if Trey's in or Trey's not in. This team is not good at rebounding, in part because KP's not good at rebounding. Okongu's undersized. And then their wings are just Daniels, Nah, and Jalen Johnson are responsible for just dominating the competition spot ups and guys trying to penetrate to the rim. So I think this is perfect for like De'Aaron Fox if he does get past his guy in this situation. The Hawks have actually been giving up the most points, the most assists per game, 2 point guards since Trey went down. Another weirdness, right? But it is because they're not they're not well, first of all, it's 7 games out of the 10, still the last 7 without him. And really what the key there to me is like it actually was that way with Dyson Daniels last year too, where the Hawks were still bad at limiting point guards because they're not giving any semblance of help. And then the point guard has the ability to do what he needs to do if Dyson Daniels over pressures or if he gets the switch that he wants, right? That now he's in a good spot. Not saying he's going to have any weaknesses in this defense to necessarily like take apart, but he did a really great job orchestrating things for them and coming down in the clutch last game. So I still like them without him. It's just tough to say like, well, here's what the Spurs do without Wemby. There's nothing really even there for us this season. It's more just I look at this team and I love who they're being able to throw out there versus the Hawks without Trey.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the Spurs still do well is play some good defense. So that's my angle for this game, right? Is 232. It's actually climbed up a little bit as people are kind of looking at some recent Hawks results. I mean, they've had wild pace fluctuations in November, but they're still 5th in defensive rating. Interesting what you bring up about Fox, because I mean, I think the big deal is like there's a drop off here from facing Memphis in his last game, and they played another tomato can before that without Wemby, right? And now you get the Dyson Na combo for De'Aaron Fox, who's just asked to basically carry the Spurs on offense. Like they have this mismatched bigs rotation around him, not a lot of shooting. Hawks not a great shooting team either to take advantage. So I mean, teams are probably going to have to score in transition here, but into without Wemby, the Spurs have been the number 1 transition D, knowing they have to get back without him. And the Hawks, I mean, they've had some outlier overs. They scored 47 in the fourth quarter to come back against Phoenix. They played at a 107 pace at Utah. They dropped 133 on the aforementioned Kings. The previous 7, those games averaged 224. They played at a 98 pace. Spurs are playing at a 98 pace at home this year. Both teams are also bottom 5 in free throw rate in their last 7. So I don't think it's a situation where there'll be a lot of clock stoppage and scoring here. I think it'll just kind of be like a lot of big wings going back and forth. And yeah, you mentioned Hawks number 1 in assist rate, also number 1 most turnovers, most highest turnover percentage without Trey. So just as a counterpoint for the Trey Young enthusiasts, that yeah, they're sharing the ball, but they're also throwing it out of bounds a lot.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fair. It's they're passing more, so maybe that's a part of it. But yeah, either way, yeah, I'm okay with an under here with the way that these teams just turn defensive either way. And Wemby does help the offense, obviously the defense even more, but they've got the guns to sort of make up for that enough to be under a pretty high total for teams that you don't trust their offense quite as much, despite being able to move the ball. It's like finishing. It's still a little bit of one-on-one eventually. But let's get to the Clippers and Magic for a minute, just because like the Clippers aren't really good right now. They're no, like legitimately within the standings as well. They're 4-10. I think that's just like getting glossed over a bit because we're all just like, well, James Harden keeps his team at 500 until Kawhi comes back for a random stretch if he does. But right now, that's not happening. And once you lose Derrick Jones Jr. to that degree, you've also already got Kawhi out, which as much as he helps the offense in the half court, he also helps the defense a ton, as we know, defensive player of the year. So even in his old age, like playing within the scheme of a Clippers defense with Zubac at the rim, it's a really, really, really nice defense, as we saw last season. Not as much of that. And now that you need more offense as well, now you don't really, you haven't been able to rely on Bradley Beal obviously at all. And now he's done. So where's this like more offense coming from? It's not coming from Chris Paul at this point. So there's just nothing there. It's like bogey. And then once you get bogey on the floor, your defense is just like explosion. So like that's where we're looking. Like they were hoping Jordan Miller, we were going to start to see some young guys for this squad there. And I do like what I'm seeing from the Magic, especially in this last game against the Dubs. Really what it kind of made me go is I think Jalen Suggs is just as important to this team as anybody else. Maybe not quite as much as Paolo. You can still make that clear argument, but there's very few guys. Like I just love what he brings to this team in terms of being able to bring a little bit more athleticism to a team that's pretty slow and relies on the athleticism of like a couple guys to get there, but not even true like rim running athleticism, right? Like they were hoping Jonathan Isaac could do that. It's not quite him. And Suggs really doesn't seem like he's on a minutes limit anymore as long as he can keep his hands to himself. So like him in this game as well, like him to be a big factor in this one defending James Harden. And then on the other end on offense, he's become that important as well.
Yeah, there's a big travel advantage right now for Orlando. If you look at their schedule, like they basically haven't had to leave the East Coast in weeks. I mean, their furthest travel was Houston. They've been home here, hosting the Warriors a couple nights ago, and the Clippers are in the middle of a long road trip. It's an old team that these things matter, especially when you're old and you don't like getting on a plane all the time. Coming down from Philly after that game where it looked like a spot where the Clippers were going to get up for it, and Harden certainly got up for it. I just don't know what they have other than Harden right now, as you're pointing out. And Orlando's really good at limiting assists. They've been pretty good against Harden. So yeah, I think they keep this thing rolling. Speaking of the Sixers in the props department here, Joel Embiid, 17 and a half points, provided he plays. If not, you just get your wager back. But that's the indication, is that he's going to be back out there. And this is pretty low, considering my man has had 20 points every single game since his rough opener. And the Sixers are now spreading out his starts a lot more. I mean, the last two, he's had 4 days of rest before playing, and then he's gone out and scored 25 in 25 minutes on 37% usage. I mean, points, he's gone over on points in 12 of the last 15 going back to the end of last season. He's gone under on the rebounds in 5 of 6 this season. As we've often pointed out, you can take under on the boards, you could take over on the points. And Miles Turner has not been an Embiid stopper. I mean, granted, he was a lot healthier in previous matchups, the last 6, but basically over a point per minute when he's facing Turner on the Pacers, and when he faced Milwaukee last February, when he was still at this kind of like hobbled state, 27 points in 30 minutes. The Bucks are a team that will give you the mid-range, right? That's been their philosophy for a long time. They've been 8th worst defending the mid-range in their last 7. They've also allowed the second most shots at the rim, and opponents are shooting 73% at the rim in their last 4 here. Half of those without Giannis. Obviously, no Brook Lopez anymore. None of that anchor defense. Miles Turner, not the same guy as far as just defending the rim. So I think Embiid will be able to have some success from the elbow on down.
Yeah, no questions there. I'm not worried about him in this matchup, especially without Giannis anywhere nearby to bother anybody. So in this Magic game, I mentioned the Suggs look here. I still think we're good. I've got him. If he plays 28 minutes, I still have him at 27 PRA. So I think he's good for as much as they need him in this one. Probably low 30s, 32 would be my guess. The way that he's been just upping his minutes and now just is back at full. So yeah, this game against in this matchup, like, it's just not the same Clippers team, like we've said. Like, there's just not much that they have that they're doing well, like that they're stopping. It's not around the rim. You'd think it would be a little bit more on the perimeter. It's super not. They're dead last, limiting above the break threes. They are not really giving up in the corner. And so they are sort of, obviously, like Brook Lopez's sort of drop defense is now just the same thing as Zubac's super drop defense. So like basically anything that's just not right at the rim, you're good to go. And honestly, without Paolo, there's a bit more jump shooting because Tristan Da Silva is going to be out there a lot more. And he has been 42% from 3 this season. He and Suggs have both of them really stood out to me more than anyone in the Golden State game and the game prior without Paolo, to where it's like, okay, these are the guys that are stepping up in the scoring department, especially, and then just giving them a little bit extra when it comes to sort of like crashing the offensive boards, which is super huge for them as well. When it comes to rebounding for the Clippers this season, like, it's Zubac, and he's doing a great job, and he's limiting centers from getting rebounds, but there's still a bunch of offensive rebounds going around. And I think that's where Jalen Suggs is going to come into play as well, is the fact that he's crashing those offensive boards. Had like 2.5 per game when he was still playing 20 minutes per game over the course of like 7 or 8 of them. So I still love him to be able to crash the offensive board. This team is giving up the 4th most offensive rebounds and the 2nd most to forwards. So just anybody who's crashing, basically, that's not a center, is going to be able to get in there and get theirs against this team on the boards, as long as Zubac isn't just gobbling everything up. And I'm not saying that like Wendell and Goga are going to in any way handle Zubac, but it's going to be a team rebounding effort against him, and that's going to leave a lot of stuff open for the Magic as well, who I think will get some extra second chances there. So yeah, love Suggs in every way in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he played 32 minutes 2 nights ago, right, to deal with Steph, and you'd presume it'd be the same kind of stopper role against Harden here, where you really try to cut off the head of the snake if you're Orlando. Also interested in Anthony Black, right? I mean, he's taken on a bigger role offensively for Magic, who have been pretty spread out with the scoring since Paolo went down. We mentioned Vince Will. He definitely came through on Tuesday. We're now 3 higher on the points and rebounds, but I think it's still good. I mean, the points at 13.5 are solid. But I mean, once he's in this point guard role that you pointed out, I mean, the last 4, basically, he's been taking on more and more ball handling, obviously much more without Ja. So the last game, they let him grab 9 of 12 rebound chances, did his teammates, right? Because if you're the point guard and you're also have a crazy long wingspan and you can get in there and grab the board, it's great if you can get it and then push, right? So, I mean, that's an insanely high rebound chance rate against a Spurs team that's good at rebounding, and the Kings are not in particular. He also played the second most minutes behind Jaren Jackson, who's not going to play. We mentioned Coward and Edie are both on 25-minute limits at the moment, it seems, and those are the best rebounders for Memphis. Vince Will in the last 3 has the most touches, the longest time on ball, and so in that point guard role. But also when he gets it back, he's shooting 50% on catch and shoots and didn't even really hit his threes against the Spurs, where he was shooting very well on threes. He went 1 for 5 against the Spurs. He's shooting 100% when he gets there down there in the paint. And as I mentioned in the earlier segment, Kings are allowing the worst field goal percentage at the rim in their last 7, with Sabonis, generally not that interested in playing that hard for this team, just hoping he can get traded at some point.
He should be soon. Yeah. I guess you just didn't like the assists as much. Maybe he didn't have quite as many potentials last game. It kind of scared you off.
Yeah, I mean, and on its own, it's like minus 140 for 6 dimes. It just didn't seem worth adding that many dimes. Like, while he is the nominal point guard,
Yeah.
I just think his natural skill set is better suited to the points and rebounds.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can understand that. So let me close it out here with Keldon Johnson, man, been a monster on the boards without Wemby. And that shows in general, like in the last couple games now at 15 rebound chances per game in the last 2, going over this number in both of those. And his last 4 also getting a whole bunch of rebounds as well, we should mention. So even with Wemby, he was starting to get back into his normal flow. He's coming off the bench, which is fine. Like, I do think it's helped keep some of his numbers a little bit depressed. But previous to that, without Sabonis going up with 12 boards against the Kings in that first game without Wemby, they won by 13. And I think he's good for the 30 minutes moving forward. Like, everything has started just trended up from 24 or from like teens to 20s, and then just living in the 20s is sort of just that guy off the bench as things got crowded. But it's a little bit less crowded now, and you're definitely going to want him out there again in this one to be able to come in and handle a bunch of the large wings that we're talking about, like another Jalen Johnson defender, another guy to help on the rebounds against Jalen Johnson. Him and Sohan, just see them really coming in off the bench and doing work, especially when they're playing with Kelly Olynyk, who, no shade, not a terrible rebounder by any means, but like, he's not good enough at rebounding to not have to worry about boxing out Porzingis and more importantly probably Okongwu in such a way that, like, that's his focus. And I do think Keldon Johnson's going to have and Sohan, to be fair, are going to have the rebounding advantages over their guys. So just love him to keep getting the 30 minutes off the bench, still get and dominate the second unit, and then also get those closing minutes that keeps him in the low 30s.
Yeah, we expect that trend to continue, right? Keldon Johnson and Sohan, kind of helped turn that game around against Memphis off the bench. And yeah, with Atlanta, we don't know if Porzingis is going to play, but I mean, if he doesn't, that's even more of like this wing dominated matchup where Okongwu's stretching you out. Jalen Johnson is the focal point of the offense. So yeah, it all makes sense as far as getting Keldon more playing time and probably a little less for Luke Cornett, who even in the matchup with Edie, got yanked out of there. It's just like, maybe you're not a full-time player.
Just 28 minutes for him. So yeah, that's a big part of it too. And then, like I said, Kelly Olynyk as the backup 5. But that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will be back here with stuff for you for Friday as always. Also got NFL on the slate there for you guys for week 12. So until we see you next, happy betting.